You set my posture at a curve, like a rusty pipe last night, while we shared a paper box of lukewarm noodles under yellow light. Now my sneakers drag across the pavement toward the western bus, where the city dust settles on the glass without a single fuss. A pigeon limps across the curb with half a yellow feather gone. The bakery across the street is pulling down its metal awning. Concrete blocks are warming up to take the heavy afternoon, and I am tracking time against the shrinking shadow of a spoon. So when it's the expressway before the overpass clears, carry a dry coat past the terminal where the gray gulls steer. Situate your heavy mind upon the wooden dock chair. Let the low tide take the garbage that was tangled in your hair. A rusted hatch is banging loose against a green buoy. 3 seagulls argue over crusts behind a vendor's empty tray. The water laps the concrete steps with rhythm slow and deep, like a tired mother singing half-remembered songs to sleep. A stray receipt is fluttering beside a rusted parking meter. The temperature is climbing up and making every breath much sweeter. An old dog sniffs a paper cup left by the public stairs, and nobody is asking for the burdens that a young back bears. So when is the expressway before the overpass clears? Carry your dry coat past the terminal where the gray gulls steer. Situate your heavy mind upon the wooden dock chair. Let the low tide take the garbage that was tangled in your hair. 5 small pebbles in your pocket, rolling as you walk. Nobody is checking watches. Nobody demands small talk. Just the heavy smell of kelp drying on a wooden crate, and the steady tide arriving right upon the hour of 8. The bus tires hiss against the curb and take the curve around, leaving just the sound of water hitting foreign ground. Another day is folding up its corners in the haze, while the ocean turns a page across the empty bays. That rough linen coat you left on the chair still smells like the gravel we kicked in despair. The subway is crowded, the faces are gray. I'm carrying pieces of yesterday. A ticket stub crinkles inside of my palm. The city is loud, but my chest is too calm. Waves crash against the pavement in my mind. We left our names in timber far behind. The tide pulls back and leaves the pavement bare. I taste the salt from when you weren't there. We sat on the hood as the engine ticked down, too tired to argue, too broke to leave town. You pointed at ships moving out past the light and swore we would make it out of the night. The meadow was cold underneath our thin clothes, where time stopped moving, nobody quite knows. Waves crash against the pavement in my mind. We left our names in timber far behind. The tide pulls back and leaves the pavement bare. I the salt from when you weren't there. Yeah. Footsteps echo down the empty station stair. I close my eyes and feel the coastal air. It washes over every heavy modern thought, giving back the peace that we nearly bought. Waves crash against the pavement in my mind. We left our names in timber far behind. The tide pulls back and leaves the pavement bare. I taste the salt from when you weren't there. Just close your eyes. The ocean finds the cracks. No looking back. Why does the ceiling fan click 20 times before it sleeps? While my thoughts keep spinning circles in the dark. I left my shoes beside the kitchen sink and drove until the street lights lost their spark. Traffic lights bleed red onto the damp asphalt. Nobody is watching when the gears grind to a halt. Pack a heavy coat because the tide is pulling close. Salt is drying on the windshield where we used to talk. Watch the gulls divide the gray between the harbor posts. The water takes the silence that we brought. Coffee cup is cold and sitting on the dashboard shelf. I forgot to check the messages you left behind. Sometimes moving forward means you have to fool yourself into thinking that the noise is just the wind. Footsteps sink down deep into the shifting sand. Leave the city limits where the sirens never land. Watch it rise, watch it fall. Nothing needs an answer here at all. A scent of burnt gasoline hangs in the fog. He watches the timer click down on his log. 26 years of the concrete routine. Nowhere in sight is a strip of the green. He drops 20 coins in the fare box slide, trading the heat for the parking lot. Salt spray is waiting at the end of the line, where heavy iron shipping containers align. The tightest of pilings, a steady bass thump to settle the rhythm of a chest under pump. She sits by the window, a coat pulled up tight, ignoring the screen, flashing blue in the light. The city has bled every ounce of her nerve, waiting for pavement to take a sharp curve. She clutches a ticket with grease on the edge, bound for the granite and wild water's ledge. Salt spray is waiting at the end of the line, where heavy iron shipping containers align. The tightest of pilings, a steady bass thump to settle the rhythm of a chest under pump. No speeches are given to souls in distress, just 54 miles of the shoreline redressed. The breakers don't care about overdue rent, they swallow the sorrow and wash out the dent. Salt spray bass thump to settle the rhythm of a chest under the doors slide apart on the wet gravel ground, and nothing remains of the engine room sound. Tiny shell rests by the laptop edge. It still smells faintly of the deep tide. My shoulders carry hours of heavy stone. No room left inside to hide. Traffic hums below the concrete floor, while my chest keeps sinking more and more. I dial the distance in my quiet mind. Where breaking waves leave urban noise behind. A cooling current floods the wooden floor until my pulse remembers nothing more. Paperclips scatter like a school of fish, swirl in circles of a midnight wish. My phone screen flickers with the dull blue light. I push it far away from sight. Salt there drifts right through the bedroom door, though I am miles away from any shore. I dial the distance in my quiet mind. Where breaking waves leave urban noise behind. A cooling current floods the wooden floor until my pulse remembers nothing more. Inhale the dampness rising from the wood. Release the panic where I long have stood. The tide is pulling at my heavy shoes. There is nothing left for me to lose. The shell stays quiet underneath the lamp. My room is quiet and the air is damp. A private ocean kept for just a night before the morning brings back blinding light. A lone siren tears through the concrete block, while your shoulders carry heavy clock. You stare through the glass at the passing blur, as if your whole world began to stir. We traded the quiet for neon signs, entangled our days in deadline lines. Look at your palms, they are shaking still, from climbing up hills against your will. Leave that heavy coat up on my floor. We are walking straight through closing door. The salt in the air will wash the gray. We parked all the grief 3 blocks away. Your sneakers all worn from the pavement fight. Let us catch the last tram into the night. I know how the pressure can choke a chest when everyone demands your very best. Leave that heavy coat up on my floor. We are walking straight through closing door. The salt in the air will wash the gray. We parked all the grief 3 blocks away. And down where the tower meets the harbor wall, we will drop the weight that made you fall. Nobody is keeping the score down here. Just listen closely to what is near. The water is cold against our toes, forgetting the place where the traffic flows. Just breathe in the dark and let it break. There's nothing left today for you to fake. sudden memory cuts through the quiet room, like heavy metal shears across a velvet loom. You left your keys beside the coat ceramic plate, and I was slipped away while falling in freight. The overhead fluorescent tube begins to hum. Your fingers tap a rhythm on your burning thumb. Pack the leather jacket with the broken zipper, driving till the tarmac turns to cooling salt. The heavy tide is washing past the wooden pier, and no one asked you why you brought the bitter fault. Headlights carve a tunnel through the coastal fog. A lonely dashboard light blinks on a plastic dog. You roll the window down to taste the rising brine, and let the freezing air erase the closing line. The heavy steering wheel vibrates against your palm. An ocean draft arrives to break the sudden calm. Pack the leather jacket with the broken zipper, driving till the tarmac turns to cooling salt. The heavy tide is washing past the wooden pier, and no one asked you why you brought the bitter fault. Step across the shale and feel the pebbles shift. The water takes the weight of every silent drift. The tide is coming in to cover up the track, without a single word of asking you back. Yeah. The weight of the chair presses down on the floor. You stare at the cracks near the apartment door, counting the hours until the rent is due, carrying ghosts that were never really you. Put down the pen, breathe in the cold, forget the stories you were told. Pack a small bag and leave the keys behind. We are driving until the soul clears out your mind. Windows roll down to taste the freezing foam. The tide brought a letter saying you are finally home. I found the jacket you wore in 26, still smelling faintly of cheap espresso sticks. You thought the failure was permanent and deep, stealing the hours that belong to proper sleep. Look at the waves crash on the pier. They wash away 20 years of unnecessary fear. Pack a small bag and leave the keys behind. We are driving until the soul clears out your mind. Windows roll down to taste the freezing foam. The tide brought a letter saying you are finally home. 24 hours of silence on the coast. Toast to the people we lost and loved the most. No schedule waiting on the kitchen wall, just horizon line standing tall. Sit on the sand, feel the breeze blow. Nowhere else we need to go. for the light is olive and bruised today. Pulling on the asphalt by your faded sneakers. You look like you swallowed a whole highway without enough water to wash it down. I got nothing to sell and no place to be, so keep your heavy jacket zipped to your chin. The tide is coming in past the parking meters, dragging all the heavy static off your skin. Step past the concrete barrier and watch the phone. We trade our monthly rent for salt upon the tongue. Nobody asked you why your hands were shaking cold. The water tastes the bitter, inventory done. You said you missed the bus 3 towns ago. I said the salt destroys the wiring anyway. We stare into the gray where tankers drift so slow, like heavy thoughts we didn't mean to keep today. Said you missed the bus 3 towns ago. I said the salt destroys the wiring anyway. We stare into the gray where tankers drift so slow, like heavy thoughts we didn't mean to keep today. The tide is coming past the parking meter, dragging all the heavy static off your skin. Let the undertow pull the arithmetic down. We are just 2 bodies standing on the edge of town. Oh, the tide is coming in past the parking meters, dragging all the heavy static off your skin. The tide is coming in past the parking meters, dragging all the heavy static off your skin. The tide is coming in past the parking meters. You said my shoulders looked like they were holding up a bridge. I laughed it off while stirring sugar in the cheap chicory. Now the steering wheel is sticky and my cuticles are ragged, and the weather app is lying about the temperature at 3. Traffic crawls past container ships unloading copper coils. The dashboard clock flickers through the greasy film of dust. Your voice keeps replaying like a scratch vinyl on loop, saying I should learn to drop the heavy things I trust. So spray coats the windshield in a film of silver grit goes. Drop down to scavenge where the diesel drums are split. A lone man on the boardwalk throws stale crust to the tide, and the cold gray breakers rolling with nowhere left to hide. 2 pigeons fight over a greasy piece of paper bag. A neon sign for laundry flickers with a broken hum. The sidewalk is stained purple from crushed berries on the curb, and my palms are starting freezing though the heavy cold is numb. Roll the window down an inch and let the damp air bite. Look at how the horizon swallows up the faded light. Nobody is watching as the tide comes pulling in. Wash the grit and gravel off the surface of your skin. The water takes the garbage and it gives it back refinedly. The conversation that you left too far behind, shifting to burden. Watch the foam dissolve into the gray. Let the low salt wind blow all the bitter thoughts away. Numbers glow this sharp, 0230 on the dash, while the city slept beneath an ash gray hood. You were tired of running through the constant clash, just trying to remember how the quiet stood. Let the heavy boots drop on the wooden floor. We are finally past the heavy slamming door. Imagine 5 years forward on a cliff of salt and slate, where the Pacific air dissolves the things we used to hate. No inbox waiting for the dawn to break your steady stride. Just a wicker chair and room enough to watch the rising tide. Tomorrow feels like lead inside a paper cup, and the 30 minutes left before the alarm bell rings are too short to fix the mess we keep on piling up. So close your eyes and picture what the shoreline brings, and let the heavy boots drop on the wooden floor. We are finally past the heavy slamming door. Imagine 5 years forward on a cliff of salt and slate, where the Pacific air dissolves the things we used to hate. No inbox waiting for the dawn to break your steady stride. Just a wicker chair and room enough to watch the rising tide. That future self is waiting with a kettle on the stove, far away from traffic lights and concrete in the grove, breathing in the iodine and cooling summer breeze, with nothing left to prove and no one else to please. Imagine 5 years forward on a cliff of salt and slate, where the Pacific air dissolves the things we used to hate. No inbox waiting for the dawn to break your steady stride. Just a wicker chair and room enough to watch the rising tide. The clock still ticks away the dark inside this room, but the salt is drying softly on a future autumn noon. Keep that vision close against the coming morning chill. The ocean holds a place for us beyond the western hill. A chip blue ceramic button sits right beside my keys. Dust collects in the little four holes like quiet memories. My hands are shaking just a bit from too much coffee brew, and I have nowhere I need to be and nothing left to do. The city outside is screaming in sirens and heavy steel. I need to step away from the panic I try to conceal. Pack a small bag with a towel and a heavy wool coat. Walk down the avenue watching the gray pigeons float. Keep going straight till the asphalt gives way to the sand, and let the cold tide wash the clean slate right into my hand. I left my phone on the counter, let the battery die. Nobody's looking for me under this overcast sky. The wind smells heavy with salt and the engine greases ships. A quiet sentence is forming right here on my lips. The concrete is fading behind me. The air starts to taste like a clean slate waiting to happen. A bitter taste to raise. Pack a small bag with the towel and a heavy wool coat. Walk down the avenue watching the gray pigeons float. Keep going straight till the asphalt gives way to the sand. Let the cold tide wash the clean slate right into my hand. Feeling right down where the foam meets the damp boundary line. I leave my worries right here in the surf that isn't mine. The water doesn't care about the deadlines I missed. It just keeps rolling in with a heavy, steady twist. Stand till the shoes are soaked through and the daylight turns gray. Breathing the salt in deeply and letting the mess slip away. The button is waiting at home on the dark wooden board, while I am standing out here where the peace has been stored. A straight heel clicks against the concrete slab while you stare down at your phone and try to grab some magic from a text that fell flat. Your heavy coat is dragging in the wet gray dirt, and I can tell that quiet phone call really hurt. You walk the same 6 blocks with your head hung low, forgetting that the wind has got a place to go. Leave your bitter thoughts beside the curb we pass. Watch the neon bleed across the shattered glass. I brought a towel to wash the gray from your shoe. A salted heavy wind made to order for you. The bakery bell is ringing for the closing shift, and every shadow on the asphalt looks adrift. You trace the cracks inside the pavement with your toe, too tired to figure out which corner you should go. Just drop the heavy bag you've carried all week long, and let the evening air correct what went wrong. Leave your bitter thoughts beside the curb we pass. Watch the neon bleed across the shattered glass. I brought a towel to wash the gray from your shoe. A salted heavy wind made to order for you. No one is watching how you stumble in the dark. We are just 2 ghosts inside a city park. Listen close and hear the water rush the wall. Forget about the things that made you feel so small. The tide is pulling back beyond the rustic gate, and we don't have to check the clock to know it's late. The smell of damp asphalt and fried dough fills the lane. He leaves his heavy jacket crumpled on the train. 29 years of concrete dust beneath his nails, watching how the evening light on office towers fails. No one asking why his jaw is tight today. He just needs to walk the other way. He buys a one-way ticket where the seagulls flock, finding 50 feet of gravel by the wooden dock. The tide rolls heavy underneath the rusted beam, trading 30 hours of worry for a soft-soaked dream. A neon sign flickers through the greasy diner glass. He watches all the hurried strangers pass. His fingers trace the edge of something worn and cold, listening to stories that the crash and roll is told. No one asks him why his boots are caked in gray. He just lets the ocean wash the day away. He drops a heavy shoulder as the water swells, filling up his lungs with ancient ocean smells. The midnight spray hits harder than a spoken word, granting him the silence that he always craved and heard. Oh yeah. The current pulls the debris down into the dark, leaving just the quiet of an empty seaside park. He turns his collar upward against the stinging gust, leaving all his panic in the rising foam and rust. He walks back up the hill before the morning train, trading salt and water for the steady autumn rain. The heavy air is shifting to a cleaner chill, carrying the ocean up the steep and narrow hill. A sudden thought interrupts the quiet room. Like a drop coin on hardwood floors, you count the cracks in the rental ceiling, wondering how 24 got so heavy. The jacket you wear still smells like diesel, and nothing in your pocket rings. Shift the weight from your left heel, step past the sliding glass door. The city noise fades down the slope as gravel turns to open shore. Cold tide washes over your scuffed boots. Salt air burns the back of your throat. Nobody knows you sitting on this gray timber. Let the deep water carry what you wrote. Faint headlights sweep across the foam, tracing lines where the dark meets the chill. A rusted winch clicks in the distance while the rest of the coastline stands still. You pull the wool collar tight to your chin and leave the unpaid bills behind the glass. Shift the weight from your left heel, step past the sliding glass door. The city noise fades down the slope as gravel turns to open shore. Cold tide washes over your scuffed boots. Salt air burns the back of your throat. Nobody knows you sitting on this gray timber. Let the deep water carry what you wrote. No grand speeches save for the evening news, just a heavy drag of wet sand beneath. The quiet trade for the things you couldn't fix, trading the pavement for the undertow's teeth. Cold tide washes over your scuffed boots. Salt air burns the back of your throat. Nobody knows you sitting on this gray timber. Let the deep water carry what you wrote. The horizon blurs into a single shade of slate. Another bus idles up the winding hill. You'll leave your footprints where the froth begins and the night stays cold and still. Why does the steering wheel feel so cold at 24? When the room back downtown was suffocating dry. My thumb traces a crack along the dashboard plastic, while the windshield wiper flicks a dry leaf aside. Nobody asked me how the presentation went, just numbers sliding down a spreadsheet grid. And rent is due before the ink dries on the page. Gear shift pushed into park, engine clicking as it cools down. Feet don't wanna touch the floor, street lights blurring in the mist. Footsteps vanish where the concrete meets the foam. Salt spray hits the glass and slides in jagged lines. Nobody's waiting at the kitchen table home. Today I bought the tide, a pair of heavy eyes. Oh, headlights wash across a rusted iron rail. Girls are sleeping, standing on one skinny bone. I let the radio stay tuned to nothingness, 'cause every talk show voice sounds like alone. I kept my coat zipped up against the evening draft and swallowed every complaint meant for yesterday. The tide keeps pushing forward without asking why. It doesn't need a quarterly review to breathe, just rising up to wash the gravel clean. Keys still turn halfway in the ignition slide. Seatbelt resting loose across a quiet chest. Let the water take the static out of my head until the dark looks like a place to rest. The weight of the chair feels heavy tonight. Beneath 25 years of quiet fright, I stare at the walls you painted in gray, believing the noise will soon go away. You stayed up until the clock broke his hand, writing your fears on sinking sand. Pack up the desk and leave the broken screen. We are driving past the places you have never seen. Buy a ticket where the pavement meets the tide. Let the heavy water wash away the grief inside it. I found that old note tucked under the glass, begging the future to hurry and pass. Your knuckles were white, your breathing was thin, locked in the cage of where you might begin. You thought every failure carved out your name, bearing the weight of unearned blame. Pack up the desk and leave the broken screen. We are driving past the places you have never seen. Buy a ticket where the pavement meets the tide. Let the heavy water wash away the grief inside. I brought you this shore, wrapped up in my hands, far from the deadlines and ruthless demands. Sit by the phone and listen close to what you needed to hear the most. Pack up the desk and leave the broken screen. We are driving past the places you have never seen. Buy a ticket where the pavement meets the tide. Let the heavy water wash away the grief inside. The salt hits your face and time slows right down. You survived 25 in that suffocating town. Keep looking straight ahead, the air is clear. I am right here. The straight phrase slips through the static on the dial and pulls you back to an island 50 miles wide. You are standing in the middle of a dream you haven't lived yet, watching salt spray freeze across a windshield made of pride. Shift the gear and let the pavement roll. Tonight the coastline pays the toll. We will park the sedan where the rollers break and count every dollar that we didn't make. Your palms will get damp on the warm steering wheel, while the salt water proves that this moment is real. 2 decades deep into the city, smog and gray, you forgot what it felt like when the tide takes it away. Picture yourself next summer in a faded denim jacket, listening to the low roar when the deep currents bracket. Shift the gear and let the pavement roll. Tonight the coastline pays the toll. We will park the sedan where the rollers break, and count every dollar that we didn't make. Your palms will get damp on the warm steering wheel, while the salt water proves that this moment is real. In that future afternoon, your breath is steady. The tea is brewed and dinner is already waiting on the counter by the open screen. And none of this heavy gray has ever been. We will park the sedan where the rollers break, and count every dollar that we didn't make. Your palms will get damp on the warm steering wheel, while the salt water proves that this moment is real. Picture it now. The tide coming in, your boots in the sand. Let it begin. That rough cotton sleeve catches the edge of my wrist, dragging me backward through hours we missed. You wore that dark jacket when the wind bit our skin, before the heavy quiet set in. I still trace the stitching where the button fell loose, trying to piece together an unnecessary truce. We parked by the seawall while the engine stayed hot, tracing no promises on glass we forgot. The tide rolled in heavy and swallowed the shore, leaving us nothing to fight for anymore. Salt on the window blurred out the streetlights, turning the city into yellow blurs and quiet nights. You laughed at the static coming on the dash before our summer turned straight into ash. I opened the glove box for a map we outgrew, finding a ticket from the day I lost you. We parked by the seawall while the engine stayed hot, tracing no promises on glass we forgot. The tide rolled in heavy and swallowed the shore, leaving us nothing to fight for anymore. Cold water rushing up to clear out the dust, giving my tired lungs back to the trust. I hold on to nothing as the horizon breaks wide, letting the cold soul pull back the tide. Driving alone now past the empty piers, dropping the windows to wash out the years. The water is waiting right where it begins, quiet and endless against the cold sand. Numbers glow to sharp 0415 when the sedan finally killed its engine. You were staring past the windshield wiper at a horizon we would only reach next year. We packed nothing for the weekend ahead, just the clothes we wore to the office desk and the thermos full of lukewarm tea. watching the dashboard clock tick down the gray. 10 more months before the lease expires. 10 more blocks of concrete to endure. But the salt there is the heat of it, and the future starts to blur right here. 5 years from today, we left the city behind, standing where the asphalt meets the tidal spray. You trace the salt lines on the passenger door, while the Pacific carries all our heavy mail away. And that snapshot from a Tuesday yet to come, your hair was longer by at least a span. We walked the longer pier that isn't built yet, holding takeout cups from a place that hasn't opened. You laughed at something I will say tomorrow about trading all our savings for a wooden boat, and letting current currents take the mortgage down while we learn to read the weather by the ghost. 10 more months before the lease expires. 10 more blocks of concrete to endure. But the salt there is the heat of it, and the future starts to blur right here. 5 years from today, we left the city behind, standing where the asphalt meets the tidal spray. You trace the salt lines on the passenger door, while the Pacific carries all our heavy mail away. Close your eyes and breathe the dashboard dust. Imagine how the steering wheel feels cold when there are no more spreadsheets waiting in the dark. Only kelp and driftwood on an unmarked shore. 4:15 on a Tuesday morning, yet to be. The engine ticks as metal starts to cool. We sit together in the dark and wait for the tide to pull us clean.